Student elections are indeed a testimony to our faith in the student community. To inspire our student leaders, we have a charismatic person amidst us today. Our chief guest, Mr. Roger Lurshay, is an HR professional known for his gift of the gab. He doesn't shy away from the fact that he loves the stage. For more than a decade now, he has spoken to audiences through different shows with different formats. From international award shows and workshops to concerts and conferences, he has successfully been able to pursue his passion of public speaking. As an HR professional, he has played an active role in Mindtree for 4.5 years, managing the testing, service line, and the travel, transportation and hospitality vertical as an HR business partner. He currently works as an HR consultant at Oracle. He is a member of the Young Advisory Board of NHRD Bangalore chapter and also a member of the Communications Charter for NHRD and National Chapter. He also hosts Happy HRs, the exclusive HR podcast by NHRDN, besides several other events for NHRD. Being the alumnus of 4 Jesuit institutions in Bangalore, he has been closely involved in curating several editions of Marges. He is also the Vice President of the St. Joseph's PU College Old Boys Association and a member of the board of the Alumni of St. Joseph's Institute of Management. He has written, directed, and acted in a musical drama called Lessons of Life, which was a portrayal of the impact of Jesuit education. He actively conducts workshops on various topics such as public speaking, finding your purpose, the science of happiness, and various other topics that he is passionate about. We would now like to call upon Mr. Roger Lurshay to address the gathering.
Thanks a lot, Vinay, for that warm introduction. At the outset, Reverend Father Daniel Fernandez, Principal, Dr. T.H. Lavakumar, the Student Governor, respected staff, elected members of the Student Council, Department and Association heads, class representatives, parents, and all of you joining on call today. At the very outset, thank you for inviting me for this very special occasion of the investiture ceremony of St. Joseph's College of Commerce. Now, everyone knows that any and every event at SJCC is a special occasion. Every year, the investiture ceremony is a very big deal. We have young leaders elected who have their tasks cut out for them. But every year, and I'm sure Father Daniel will agree with me, every batch tries to raise the bar for their juniors. You see every student council trying to do something different, something that they will be remembered for in the years to come. But what makes this batch extra special is the fact that right from day one, all of you are already making history. Right now as we speak, y'all will go down in history as the first ever batch to have a virtual investiture ceremony. So what a way to get started. It's pretty obvious, I agree that we are living in challenging times, but more than the need for a vaccine, I believe what the world badly is in need of is good leadership. Even before the coronavirus hit us, we were already facing a large-scale pandemic. The biggest crisis across the world, if you ask me, is not the coronavirus. It's the lack of good leadership. They say that there are 3 kinds of people in the world today. There are optimists, pessimists, and good leaders. So in life, when the storm hits us, when the storm comes, the pessimist, what does the pessimist do? The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects the wind to reduce and hopes things will get better. But it's the leader. The leader is the one who adjusts the sails in the right direction and uses the wind to move forward. Now that's exactly what all of you young leaders are called to do. It was Benjamin Franklin who said, every problem is an opportunity in disguise. Now, I don't mean to sit here and quote Benjamin Franklin and tell you story after story. And for those of you who do have work experience, I'm sure you'll agree with me that we HR professionals have the unfortunate reputation of being known as people who talk a lot. Well, that's not a myth. We HR professionals really do love to talk. I'm even sure many of you, when you got to know that you're going to have a HR person speaking as your chief guest, you must have already come to the conclusion that this is going to be one long speech. But no, today's speech is not going to be long and painful like the year 2020. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. All right. I'll be done in 3, 2, 1. I'm saying I'll be done in 3, 2, 1 because that's exactly what I intend to do. I intend to give you 3 questions, 2 concepts, and 1 number. That's why I said I'll be done in 3, 2, 1. All right. I'm just building some curiosity to keep all of you guessing what I have in store. So, and I've also been informed that some of you have just completed your exams. So I'm not going to begin right away with the 3 questions. You'll have had enough questions for now. What I'll do is I'll start with the 2 concepts. Since I'm from the HR fraternity, I'd like to begin by telling you something that's very much talked about in our fraternity and even in the field of business. You'll hear a lot of people talking about this concept called the VUCA world. VUCA, V-U-C-A, meaning volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Yes, that's the world we live in today. It's volatile, volatile because in every aspect of life, we are being impacted. Economies today are being tested. You as a student council today are being tested. The hospitality industry has been severely hit. Education, as we know it, has been forced to embrace technology like we are doing right now. U is for the uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty in the current times. Nobody knows how long this entire pandemic is going to last. It's uncertain if we will have access to a vaccine within the next few months, or it may take a year or even longer. It's uncertain when the corridors of SJCC will be back to life again, or when your basketball court will be back to all the buzz and activity it's known for. C is for complexity, because we're faced with a whole bunch of complexities. How can teachers today conduct tests and make classes interesting and engaging for all of you? How can student leaders like all of you continue to organize fests and activities and competitions in this virtual world and make it just as exciting for all your participants from various other colleges? The complexities keep unveiling themselves with each passing day. And then finally, A for ambiguity. There's absolutely no clarity for any of us. Whether it's people who are working professionals in the world of business, whether it's your faculty or management, people in the field of education, even families and individuals today need to cope with all of this ambiguity. So that's why VUCA, whether we like it or not, this is the VUCA world that all of us live in today. Now, although it's a difficult world, it's a challenging VUCA world, all of you are extremely fortunate. Not because you'll have been elected leaders, but because you'll are leaders in a Jesuit institution. So what's the big difference between just being elected leaders in any other institution and being leaders in a Jesuit institution? There's a hidden bonus that many people aren't aware of. I was fortunate to have studied in 4 different Jesuit institutions, and leadership was a huge role I had to play every step of the way. Father Daniel Fernandez was my principal, and when I was cultural secretary back in college, there's one thing I learned way back then that I use even today when I take up any leadership role at work. That's the second concept I want to talk to all of you about. It's this interesting part of Jesuit education called Magis. Magis means we are called to do more and be more. Leadership is not an entitlement. It's a privilege. It's a privilege for all of you to do more for your fellow Josephites. It's an honor for all of you to be more for your institution. They say the best kind of leadership is servant leadership. This means that being a leader, you don't get to make others work for you. It's the other way around. You get to work more for others. You get to go above and beyond the confines of your curriculum and be more than just students in college. You get to be men and women for others. And that's a very big deal. That's a very big responsibility for all of you. Now, I've spoken to all of you about the 2 concepts, the VUCA world that all of us live in, and secondly, Magis, the call for all of us to be more and do more. Now, I told you that I'll give you 3 questions, right? So these are very important 3 questions that I have to share with you. And I'm not saying this, I'm not telling you these 3 questions as an HR professional. I'm not sharing them with you as your chief guest, but as a fellow Josephite, because I've been in your shoes and I know exactly what it feels like to be where you are. You have the whole academic year ahead of you, and you have dreams and aspirations of things you'd like to accomplish during the year. As student leaders, you need to repeatedly keep asking yourself these 3 questions. I found that these 3 questions can be a very good yardstick for success. These 3 questions will help you understand whether you're on the right track or not. So what are these 3 questions? I'll get to them. They are: what have I done for others? What am I doing for others? And what will I do for others? These are the 3 questions that you can ask yourself anytime during the course of the year, and you'll find that these will be a good guiding force for all of you. And what do I mean when I refer to others? Others refers to your fellow Josephites, your faculty and staff, and most importantly, your society. These are people who will feel the impact of the decisions that you make and all of the initiatives that you as student leaders organize during the course of this year. Now, in today's news, you switch on any news channel, you'll see a whole bunch of numbers, scorecards, tallies, and statistics. I mentioned to you, I have one number I'd like to share with you, right? 3 questions, 2 concepts, and 1 number. But like I mentioned before, this number is very special. This number is going to be special for all of you listening on call. As each day begins, I want each one of you to remind yourself of this number. Write it in bold on your notebooks or put it as your screensavers on your phones. This number is very important for all of you. So what's the number? The number is 1440. 1440. So why 1440? What's so special about this number? That's the number of minutes you have in a day. Make each day count as a leader in St. Joseph's. Make each minute matter. The only currency you will never get back is time. Remind yourself each day that you have these limited 1440 minutes and make the most of every minute. Because they say if you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. Plan not just for the year ahead, but plan for the day as well. Make time to listen to your fellow Josephites. Make time to listen to your faculty. Make time for yourselves as well to introspect and learn from your mistakes. Time is the best teacher. Don't be afraid of failing. You need to fail fast and move forward. Whenever people talk about leadership, I remember this one leadership camp that I attended. In fact, Father Daniel was the one who sent me for this leadership camp way back in college. And at this camp, on one of the walls, there was this beautiful quote that was painted in big, bold letters. And I'd like to conclude with that quote, and I hope that these words inspire all of you in the year ahead. That quote was, "We were born into an unjust society, and we are determined to leave it not as we have found it." This year has begun in very unprecedented circumstances for all of you. Your fellow Josephites look up to you for inspiration. All of them look up to you for good leadership. They've all put their faith in all of you. It's now your turn to toil for all of them. I wish all of you all the very best in everything you do in the year ahead. May all of you fight the good fight. May you finish the race, and may you keep the faith. Thank you.